Awesome crowd today. Glad you all can make it. It's a warm day. It's only about 95 and about 55% humidity. So it's a little on the thick side. I'm delighted to see you. Glad you could come. And we welcome those that are tuning in via video link. We got folks in North Carolina, in Florida, and in Tennessee that I know of that are tuning in. And if you're watching from someplace other than that, send us a little blurb on the on Facebook and let us know that you're watching. So,
wait a few minutes for everyone to settle.
Oh, okay. Yes. All right. We get kind of resituated here. So, we are going through the book of Ephesians. Our goal is to take our time, cover this as is needed. No pressure, no schedule. Just see how it worked. Last week, I missed the last two parts or two portions of notes from chapter number 1. So before we get into chapter 2, which is what we were scheduled to do today, we're going to begin at chapter 1, verse 19. And there are a couple significant points that we want to cover in those last verses of chapter number 1. All right? So let's go there. Ephesians 1, verse 19 through verse 22. Joshua continues his thought and says, "And what is the exceeding greatness of his power toward us who are believing?" That's an ongoing present tense. You didn't just believe one time, but you are continually believing. So to stop and just teach right now, we'll continue on. "According to the working of his mighty strength, which he wrought in the Messiah when you raised him from the dead and seated him at his right hand in the heavenlies, far above." Can we say that phrase together? Far above. I love that. "All rule and authority and power and mastery, and every name that is named, not only in this age, but also in that which is to come. And he put all under his feet and gave him to be head over all to the assembly, which is his body, the completeness of him who fills all in all." I love those words. I love the power and the understanding of what Yah, our Father, has performed in his Son. Prior to his death, Yeshua said, "No man takes my life, but I lay it down. And I not only have the authority to lay my life down, but I have the authority to take it back up again." So did Yeshua resurrect himself, or did the Father resurrect him? Yes. It's a good Hebrew answer. Yes. The authority of the Father has always been invested in the Son. So when Yeshua was walking among us, he had already had that authority and that unction, that power resident within him. So for him to give his life, there was no fear in him that this would not work. We may not like to think about it in this term, but Yah, or Elohim, is the one who created the aspect of death. That Adam and Chava, or Adam and Eve, would sin in the garden and incur the curse of eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, it was not a shock to the Creator. He was not surprised by that. But before they ever were created, he already had instituted the power of redemption and ability for resurrection in his Son, and had already determined the plan of redemption of fallen man. I have to turn this down one night. It feels good, but it's blowing on the microphone. Okay. Now we can take that one of two ways. You and I can say, well, that redemption power that he has is almighty and overwhelming and covers a multitude of sins, and he has the ability to do this marvelous work in me. So if I should go ahead and mess up, it's going to be okay. Rothschild later on, he would address that to another congregation. He said, so because sin abounds, or because grace abounds, should sin also abound? God forbid. I love the way that the rabbis put it, and that is that a man does not commit sin unless a spirit of insanity seizes him. Sin is insanity. I got some Presbyterians agreeing with me today. It is. It's insanity. To see and know and perceive the righteousness, the set apartness, the extreme majesty of the Most High, and be vitally connected to him. That he knows us on a first name basis. You know, Lynn, when you pray, he doesn't say, can you introduce yourself to me? I forgot. I mean, I got a lot of people calling me, which one are you? As parents, you know, you go down the laundry list of your children's name until you get to the right one. Anyone ever done that? Hey, you, get over here. Wait till you have grandkids, and then it's like, No one wants their daddy to look at him and say, what was your name again? What's my call it? The Father doesn't do that to us. He knows us. And for us to then turn and to willfully, intentionally, knowingly sin against him and violate the preciousness of that relationship, that takes an insane mindset. What are we doing? What are we thinking? So, last week, we detailed this great salvation that is described for us in verses 3 down through verse 14. It's all one sentence. But in this one long, powerful sentence, Rothschild is detailing for us the beauty of salvation and redemption. Out of that, let's come to this conclusion. You and I have been redeemed for a purpose.
Yes.
God did not redeem you because he just felt sorry for you. You have no redeemable purpose, no redeemable quality, no redeemable anything about you, but he just, you're the runt of the litter, but I'll bring you along anyway. No. And every one of us, he sees the redeemable qualities. That is the potential of the image of Yah being perfected in you. Mike Layden and I have had this discussion on multiple occasions. And Mike has asked me the question on one occasion, how many people have been created in the image of Elohim? Well, we like to say in a world perspective and view, we're all the children of God. No, we're not. There was only one that was created in his image. Adam was created in the image of Elohim. But since he and his wife Chava fell, We've all been created in the image of Adam and Chava. But Yeshua has come to restore us back to the image of Elohim.
Yes.
I don't want to be just a better Adam. I want to be like Messiah.
Yes.
The second Adam, who came and did what the first Adam did not complete and did not remain in. Yeshua was tempted in all points to sin, even like you and I, but he was without sin. Hallelujah. Thank you, Yeshua.
Yes.
All right? So he has found the redeemable purpose in us. And redemption has not only come to us to where we are brought into the covenant that was established with Abraham, that described the redemptive process of Yeshua. Not only have we been brought into that to where we have an inheritance, it's not just about the physical land borders of the river of Egypt or Mitzrayim all the way up to the Euphrates, a large chunk of land. That land is precious. That land is special. That land is unique in all the lands of the earth. And even though much of it right now is mere desert sand, there is water flowing under that the scriptures and the prophets talk about springing up. And it will become, deserts will become lush and green like the Garden of Eden. Everyone's clamoring when you go to Israel to visit. Well, that's my spot right over there. Hey, your spot right now might be a hunk of sand. But don't get discouraged. There's water under the ground, and it will become green and lush and beautiful again. Who knows where he's going to put us? But we have that inheritance. That's what this chapter has already described for us. And the token, the down payment of that inheritance is the sealing work of the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, upon us. So if the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, resides within you and possesses your spirit, it is an indicator you are determined and numbered among those for the inheritance. Don't violate that relationship. Don't walk away from your inheritance. Again, that would be insanity. If I had a large spatial estate and a large accumulation of goods and wealth, and I devoted my heart toward my wife and my children to have these things and to enjoy these things, if I was benevolent and good to them and loving to them, they would be insane to look at me and say, I don't even like you. Write me out of your will, Daddy. Amber, would you do that? Nah. Why would we do that? All right, I'm trying to get to this one. Give me a minute. So last week we focused on 4 specific thoughts from Rav Shaul's prayers and intercessions for the Ephesians. Number 1, we asked the question, what is your reputation? Rav Shaul heard about their reputation and about their faithfulness and their love for one another. And we talked about what is our reputation. Among those who know us, what are we reputed as? Secondly, we talked about what would be the focus of our intercessions. And that intercession is more than mere prayer. That's a bad way to put that, mere prayer. Prayer is powerful, right? Prayer is the effort of the soul to vitally connect to Him who has created us. Intercession takes on a deeper level, a more aggressive stance, a more determined face, a pressing in to get into the face of to gain the appealing of the face of He who has created us. It's one thing to talk to someone on the phone, but to get to them face to face and see their facial expressions and understand that their ears are open to us and they're getting not only the hearing, but the visual of what it is that we're saying. Look at me while I'm talking to you. That's what we say. Y'all don't say that?
Yeah, we say it once or twice.
Leslie said, that's what I tell Mitchell. All right. Then we need revelation. This has to do with you and I being enlightened by the Ruach HaKodesh, especially in the arena where we're understanding that we are to walk in light and not in darkness. And we need the enlightenment of the Ruach to show us what is darkness, that we avoid that darkness, that we have the revelation of His light within us. Right? And then last, we talked about expectation. What is your expectation? Where is this journey that you have? Where is it taking you? What is the goal that you're going to receive? Where is it that you want Yah to take you? Who is it that you want Yah to create and to bring you into existence as? What is the right focus? The expectation about our inheritance. And we talked about this phrase in Matthew that in the Orthodox Jewish Bible says, having your loins girded and your menorahs lit. Prepared for action and illuminated by the light of the menorah, the Ruach HaKodesh, the sevenfold Spirit of Elohim. Today we're going to add the fifth word in the conclusion of this chapter. To these four, we now add number 5, exaltation. So we're going to talk about then I'm not real sure what's going on there. It's been paused. I don't know.
Natalie's not here.
Natalie's not here, so Johnny, if you could come over here and kind of restart the video on that, that would be great. We need a tech person.
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about the resurrection at the end of this chapter and the power of Yah that was displayed in that resurrection. When Yeshua went into the garden and spent the night in prayer, one of the writers describes the fact that he came to such a place of emotionally being distraught that his blood vessels, the capillaries in his blood in his skin began to burst under intense pressure. And it mixed with the sweat of his body, and his sweat glands and was mixed with blood, and he seeped blood out onto his skin, sweating blood. There's a long medical term for that process that basically describes extreme emotional trauma that brings that about. Yeshua was not only praying generally, he was interceding, and literally there was a war of prayer that was taking place. This war was not only for our atonement and the deliverance of us from sins,